How is everyone this morning? Can I have your... May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? This is O'Connor checking in for the tutorial for FinTech. The topic is crowdfunding. Are you ready? Are you ready, ski daddies, for
Yes, sir.
Yes.
the best tutorial this morning? Are you ready? I cannot see all of you. Can you check your video is working? Andrea, are you there soon? Sherry? Okay, Ern, Walshan, Ricardo, Kien, Miloslav, soon. We're going to have some fun this morning because how many of you looked at the interviews of the crowdfunding startups, the IoT? Ricardo, are you there? Ronaldo, are you there? Melissa, are you with us soon? Shereen, are you alive? Andrea, are you with us? Thanks for joining. We're going to have fun this morning. So much fun that I'll probably need to take some of these golden, you know what these are? These are the best throat lozenges in the world because, no, I don't get a commission for them because they just work. It's just amazing for when I'm using my voice all the time. Okay, I'm here because I'm very excited about crowdfunding because you had to watch a few videos of crowdfunded startups. Am I right? Right. Did you have, how many of you had a chance to look at 2 or more of the videos? Can I have a show of hands, please? Hello. How many of you had a look? Some of you looked at, like they didn't go for long. All right. Please do take a chance to look at them because when you're doing your project and you've got to think of a FinTech startup, you need to listen to the challenges that startups have because you will have challenges too. So keep that in mind. What we're going to do today is go through some questions associated with crowdfunding. And this is a big thing. Like you could come up with a FinTech product, crowd-funded product by saying, oh, we want to create a training app for unbanked population in Malaysia where they can go to the app and learn different things about how to connect into the digital world or on FinTech, you know, or how to, the app may show them all the different non-banking opportunities available to them provided by NGOs and other startups in Malaysia. You with me? Like, then that is a business, right? That is a idea. Am I right? Janice? Yeah, right? That's an idea, yes or no? I'm just describing an idea for you. Then you can actually go to Kickstarter. You could go to Kickstarter or you could go to Indiegogo and say, okay, I've got this idea and then I'm going to put it into crowdfunding and then let's see if people want to fund me for this idea. Ah, wow. Can you do that? Of course you can. You can do that today. You don't need to go to the bank and pledge your house mortgage and things like that. Take out a mortgage so you can fund your campaign. You come up with a product, you put it in Indiegogo, Kickstarter, or Patreon, and you know some of these campaigns are a service. They're not all products where you make things. So let's have a look at some of the interviews that I undertook. Okay, what is this one that we're looking at now?
Feed baby.
Feedy baby, yeah. So what was the big challenge for Feedy baby? Like how much did they raise and what was their challenge?
The challenge was to get the appropriate regulations and things properly sorted out.
Yes, yeah, very good. How can I is that lineage? Is it
lineage, yes.
lineage? Okay, all right. Which country are you from, lineage?
I'm from Sri Lanka.
That is cool. Excellent. All right. Okay. Very, very good. Regulation, because this is touching humans. So therefore, whenever you have that, then there are other FDA regulations that you have to comply with. Okay. What other problems did they have? Someone else? Roshan?
Yes.
Janice, this is your chance to participate here. Anyone? What other challenges did they have? Was that the only challenge they had? How much did they raise, by the way? How much did they raise on average? About? So I just asked a question. So how much did they raise?
So if I'm not mistaken, they didn't use Kickstarter or Indigo, right, to fund Feedy Baby.
They used Indiegogo, and the
Oh,
target, they had a target for 14,000, but they only raised about 20% of that. And so failed, gone. All right. So I want you to think about one theme I want you to take away today is this crowdfunding, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, Patreon, GoFundMe, there's many, many others. They give you the allure of, I can be successful. I can be a star. We can do this. Nothing's impossible. We don't have to mortgage our house. Right? All right. But what I want you to critically have a look at the problems and challenges that these startups really had. No, are you telling me that there's only 5? There's only 5 of them, Neil? Are you telling me there's only 5 5 startups here? Neil, Neil, how many interviews did I do of startups, by the way? Vishra, how many interviews do you think I did?
definitely more than the 5 you gave us.
Okay. I think you saw that in my presentation early in the semester, right?
Yeah, the YouTube links, there were a lot of suggestions.
There was a lot, yeah. A lot. What I mean is, let me show you. Okay. Like 53 interviews. Okay. A lot, but not all of them were crowdsourced. About 34 of them were crowdsourced. And then out of the 34, we find, if we looked at those that did crowdfunding with 34, we look at that. You're only looking at 5, Blocks, Bonnet, GoKey, Ambilabs. And, how many of these were failed? They failed to look at, did they deliver the product on time? No. Like, it's not that easy. Okay, so yes, one day someone's going to ask you for advice about crowdfunding. Well, you need to ask them to go and have a look at and talk to startups that have failed. You'll learn more from them than the ones that have been successful. The social media is full of companies that have been successful, but you don't learn from them. You learn from the ones that failed. And that's what we're going to look at today in a little bit more detail. So now, admittedly, most of these are IoT startups. They're not necessarily fintech startups, but again, we're looking at crowdfunding today. Crowdfunding is a fintech idea, okay? So that's why it's part of this unit, all right? So there we have, that's the Feedy baby. Very, very quickly, and let's go to the next one, shall we? What about GoKey? What about GoKey? Was GoKey successful? Yes or no?
No.
Was GoKey successful? Oh, did they have a successful campaign? Yes or no? Miloslav? Did GoKey have a successful campaign?
Yes.
Yes. Correct. Yes, they did. Did GoKey fail? Their campaign was successful. They raised, how much did they raise?
$1.2 million.
1.2. Okay, so they raised 1.2 million. All right. And battery, remote, cable is supposed to, they raised all this money. It was successful. They had 13,995 backers. Right. Isn't that amazing, right? Like nothing could go wrong, but in the end, they failed. All right, let's have a look at the next one. Neil, how can you put a video up of someone that's failed? Well, sorry, this was all sanctioned because this was recorded at a Global Sources conference 2016-17, and Global Sources hired me to interview 50 startups, and then I had to deliver 50 videoed interviews. And basically, one thing you're going to learn today is to focus. There, I'm taking a selfie with the guy there. You got to do everything when you're on there. All right, let's have a look at the next one. Let's have a look at basically what you're going to learn today is that, okay, crowdfunding is a lot of hype. It may work, it may not work, but also when we look at challenges, there are upstream challenges and then there are downstream challenges. That's what you want to learn today. So let's have a look at blocks. Upstream challenges, meaning that supply chain, manufacturing, delivering the product. Downstream challenges means marketing, getting the approvals. So Bonnet had major downstream problems because they couldn't get the funding, right? They couldn't get the backers. Whereas Goki, they had upstream problems in working with their factories. Let's have a look. What about blocks? How much were they? Was and two things. The other thing you make a note of is that the company can have a successful or unsuccessful campaign, and then separately, the company can be successful or unsuccessful. So, for example, Goki had a successful campaign, but now they're unsuccessful, right? So just keep that in mind. When we say you have a successful campaign, it doesn't mean that the companies are success. Apologies for that. All right. So there's blocks here. So did blocks have, what was their biggest challenge? Participation? What was blocks' biggest challenge?
Manufacturing issues.
Manufacturing. Okay. All right. And why do you think they had those problems?
Because the manufacturers are giving blocks a hard time as blocks want quality, high quality materials.
Okay. And also they did raise, 6 times more than what they expected. They wanted to raise 250,000, but they raised 1.6 million. So suddenly, wow, we got to do something bigger than what we originally expected. And then the original product, suddenly they tried to make the product even better than better. So it actually, there was what they call it a sort of a product creep problem in the development with the manufacturing. All right. So that was a big challenge. Scope creep. In other words, the scope just got even bigger and bigger and bigger than what they had set out to do. They just set out to do, let's just raise $250,000 and let's just make some watches. But then they got 1.6 million, and now suddenly the scope is just, they got to deliver 6 times more, 10 times more than what they ever planned. So that put pressure on the supply chain. It put pressure upstream. Okay, let's have a look at another one. Here's my friend Florian from Soundbrenner. Hi, there's O'Connor for. Oh, what happened? Oi. Okay, so this is Soundbrenner. So how many of you, what does Soundbrenner do? Quick.
Digital metronome.
Digital metronome.
Hi, this is O'Connor for Global
Excellent.
Sources Startup Launchpad.
Okay.
I'm with Florian of Soundbrenner.
Soundbrenner.
Very good, very good. And I'm excited about this because I play the guitar and rhythm is very important. And you've got a product to do with rhythm, right? Where's your product?
Exactly. So
What have
we
you got?
developed a wearable device for musicians.
Wow.
And what it does is basically it helps musicians to master their rhythm.
Yeah.
And so rhythm is a really exciting topic because every single musician on the planet has to play on the
like
beat
it.
and cares about this. And so what they use today to solve this problem is vibrating, is a click.
So you can see that I have lots of fun on these interviews. In some ways, I'm as curious as anyone else when I'm interviewing. You can see that, right? Like I'm not there like a formal media journalist asking formal questions. I'm just having fun
which is very
with
annoying.
these
So our
startups.
idea is, instead of listening to the rhythm with a click,
Wow.
you can now feel it through our wearable device.
Amazing, amazing. This is amazing. So, Florian, let me put this on. Can I put it on?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, because I get out of rhythm sometimes. Oh, I love it.
All right. So have a look at that video. So was Soundburner successful or not?
Yes, it was successful.
Very successful. And how much did they raise?
They raised about 2 million from investors, but then out of that, there was 240,000 from Indiegogo.
That's amazing. Now we're going to come back to that later in the Kahoot. That Indiegogo is a little bit different from Kickstarter, and we're going to ask you what is the big difference. So keep that in mind. All right. Now the big question is, did Soundburner had challenges? So were there challenges upstream or downstream?
Both.
Both. Okay. What was their downstream challenge? Downstream meaning their market and things like that.
They need to research on their particular audience, which completely different from those consumer on the market. They need to sell their product with some musician.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But do you think that was a big challenge? Like that was, when I say challenge, I mean problems that occurred that they weren't expecting. Jia Hui, what do you think? And thank you, Jinrui and Jin Lim. Thank you. Jia Hui. Hello.
Hi, sir. What is the question again?
What do you think their biggest challenge was? Like a challenge meaning something that they didn't expect, yeah, as a startup. Was it upstream or downstream?
Is it upstream?
Are you sorry? You're answering my question with a question, are you?
No.
You're very smart. I like that. I like that. All right. Very. Is it definitely upstream? All right. And so then, what do you think the upstream challenge was?
There are many areas waiting to be explored. Like they need to learn and master, including software development, like and supply chain management, electronics, firmware programming, and something else.
That absolutely correct. Okay. Very, very good. Thank you, Jia Hui. Appreciate that. And very smart to ask a question to answer the question. New breed. All right. Let's have a look. Let's talk to my friend Julian from Ambi Labs. He's also a Hong Konger.
Julian Lee. Hi, Julian.
Hi.
And met him a few times, and local Hong Kong businessman and very successful with Ambi Labs. So what is their product and how much did they raise?
But here's the product. Julian, briefly, what does the product do?
Well, in a nutshell, Ambi Climate Smart enables your air conditioner.
Automatic air conditioner controller.
It's a controller. Yeah, it's not an air conditioner. It's a controller, right? It's like there's a controller. Okay. And then that communicates to the air conditioner and also communicates to your smartphone. What do you want to communicate? Well, maybe temperature. Maybe on the smartphone, you want to change the temperature. Then the smartphone communicates to the controller, and then the controller talks to the air conditioner. Okay. And so obviously this is an IoT product, Internet of Things product again. All right. And they were successful. So was their big challenge upstream or downstream?
Downstream.
Okay, so it's a matter of,
Pardon?
so it's just like when you
Downstream.
And tell me about your downstream.
and you just sync it with the
Like,
Exactly.
like his product can't really just put it on the shelf and then expect the consumer to buy it. Like, yeah, it's a new category product. They need to explore more and to promote their product. Like they can't just put on the shelf to sell it.
Yeah, because it's a one of a kind, isn't it? And then you've got to think how to market that. And so definitely a marketing challenge. But when we talk about a challenge, we're really talking about and that's point, but anything that was unexpected challenges, do you think more of them came from upstream or downstream?
Those are some of the problems that we're trying to solve.
Yes. Oh, this is amazing. And this is automatic. I love it. Ambi climate, that is the...
I think one of the challenges was finding the right manufacturer, like the right factory for different stages of production.
Yep. Very, very good. Okay, that's very good. I agree with that. And then it's interesting. I remember Julian explaining to me that when they originally developed the product, one of their biggest concerns was protecting the IP. And this is a concern with all of these startups. Because if you don't protect your IP, then you give this idea to a factory to make for you. Tomorrow, that factory can make that same thing. They'll just copy it, and then they'll send it either directly or through a distributor to the market you're selling to. Suddenly, you've got a copy of your product in that same market, and you're dead. You're dead, because it's likely the copy is going to be half price of what you're trying to sell it for. You see, that happens all the time. So how can you stop a manufacturer from doing that? And so what Julian was telling me is that for their first 500 units, we're talking about 500 only, they did not employ a manufacturer in mainland China. They got someone in Hong Kong SAR to manufacture the first 500 units so they can trust and control and protect the IP. In other words, you physically protect the IP. Lawyers don't work in developing countries. It's too late. You're out of business, but I'm going to sue the manufacturer because they copied my product. Well, good luck. That's not how it works. All right. It's dog eat dog. If you're a startup, you've got to physically protect your IP, especially IoT. And so that's what they did. And then the second stage at 500 prototyping, then they found that worked. Then they went to a 2,000, 2,500 sample. And then they went to a manufacturer in China, but they used soft tooling. Soft tooling means that the tooling, that's the injection molding that made all the different parts, was only lasted for about 2,000 or 5,000 units. And then the tooling was no longer useful. Whereas normally when you get injection molding tooling made for a manufacturer, it lasts for 100,000 or 200,000 molds. And you didn't want to give that to a factory. Oh, can you make 2,000 for us? Then suddenly the factory can go ahead and make 198,000 for themselves. You see what I mean? So that's that second stage. Then the third stage, then they got a consultant. Actually, another friend I know that in another interview to find out who is the trustworthy factory that we could go to ramp up our production into hundreds of thousands of units. So they did it in staging, 1, 2, 3 stages. Very, very interesting. So that was Ambi Labs, Sound Bremer, that was Blocks, Go Key, and then I think the only other one was the Bonek. What was the big problem of Bonek, or big challenge? How much did Bonek raise, and what was their big challenge? We covered this, didn't we? Have we done this one? We've done this one. All right. So let's keep moving. All right. So let me just round out where we are at the moment. All right. So we've covered Ambi Labs, Soundbrenner, Bonek, Blocks, Go Key. What did we learn? Number one is, okay, it's very easy to raise money. Okay. It's very easy to raise money on these crowdfunding platforms. Okay. Number two, it's a little bit more difficult to deliver, because when you commit on the crowdfunding, then everyone is watching you and you have a deadline. But if you mortgage your house, you get a loan from the bank, you can go back to the bank and renegotiate payments or whatever before they foreclose on you. All right. And then even if they do, then, you know, your reputation is not tarnished because no one knows about that. But when you're crowdfunding, it is public. It is, the crowd is watching you. You are committing to deliver a product by a deadline. That means the pressure is on. It's dog eat dog. It's the jungle. And so the big problems that a lot of these companies had was, yeah, they were successful in crowdfunding, but they weren't successful in delivering the product. Wow. All right. And, you know, blocks, they were initially successful, but then it just got out of control. Bonic, they really failed on the downstream. GoKey, they kind of failed, they're successful in the crowdfunding campaign, but they really failed on the upstream. And both Ambilabs and Soundbremer had upstream challenges. Wow. So, you know, there's a lot more to crowdfunding than just putting something, and every one of you could, in the next couple of days, make up something and put it onto Kickstarter and raise money. Did you know that? Like your project that you do for fintech, like a business model, like you could make it so it's part of a Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign. Neil, how can you do that? Well, you say you're actually, your model that you're going to do for your project, and you're going to do a video on, then you've got to, you know, write up the case for it. Could be an app that goes onto the phone, and then that app teaches, say, people from the unbanked population or different parts of Malaysia that can't get access to the latest information, or they don't know where to start when they go on the internet. And this could be give them access to, you know, clear areas where they can solve their own financing or, you know, transactional problems, you know, because they're unbanked and things like that. Like, and then that app, you can put that app onto Kickstarter or Indiegogo and then crowdsource that. Right? And why do you need to crowdsource? Well, you need money to pay a developer. Well, Neil, how come you suddenly you're accounting? How can you say that you know all about apps? Oh, because I did develop my own app. If you can see that there, called let me just have a look. That one there, Mind. Can you see that? Mind Wizard. All right, that's an app. That's on iPhone. That's on Android. Okay, and that app, I paid in order to get this app, and then you go in there and you got lots of information. Okay, all right. When you go into that app, what I learned in developing that app is, you know, I developed all the wireframe diagrams and all of that, but then I went to a developer to write up all the coding to go onto Android and to iPhone. And so we did iPhone first, and it cost me, I think it cost me about 12,000 Hong Kong dollars, 6,000 ringgit to pay a developer to do that. And then I said, oh, I want it for Android too, right? I want it for Android too. And then I went back to the developer. Can you do Android? He said, well, yes and no. I said, yeah, but I want you to do it because you've already done it for one. That means I only need to pay you 1,000 more to do it for a second one. No. It's going to cost you 12,000 or 6,000. No, it's going to pay 7,000 or 8,000 ringgit to do the one for Android. What are you talking about? You've just done it for one. Why can't you do it for the other for half price? No. We've got to do all new coding and everything like that. So this is an upstream challenge, right? That like these startups are having. Like, I didn't know that until you get all your hands and legs and mind into making something, then you problems start up and you realize, oh, wow, my development fees now is 12,000 ringgit. Originally, I thought I only need to budget for 5,000 ringgit. You see what I mean? So that was an upstream challenge that I had. Luckily, I didn't go to Kickstarter or Indiegogo and promise the world that I could give them an app for, $10 US. You with me? And then deliver so I didn't have that pressure. But you can imagine these startups have pressure and they find out suddenly, oh, I didn't know I had to protect IP. Oh, I didn't know I had to communicate with Chinese of another language. Oh, I didn't know that I didn't know that I had to monitor the manufacturing quality day in, day out. I didn't know all this. I just thought that, oh, I get the money and then I can outsource the manufacturing. No. It doesn't work like that. So I think that's a big takeaway. So let's play Kickstarter. Let's play Kahoot and have some fun, just to try and, now part of the Kahoot is to try and summarize what we're doing, and let's hopefully there's no errors in this version. I think there was one last week, so if you can pick out the error, then we give you full participation marks. Okay, so let's get this Kahoot going. Let me start and stop sharing. We're going to play, teach, stop share. We're going to share the screen, and then, all right, classic. Okay, we're loading the pin and 15 questions again, and we're going to play the Kahoot. So what are we doing? First part of the Kahoot is going to be asking questions about each of these startups. And then the second half, probably the last 5 questions, we'll look at the costs and the benefits of crowdfunding. Okay, come on. It's 447-0672. Come on, everyone in and put your full name in or one of your names in, because it adds a little bit more personality. Come on, let's get in this move. Let's work on this, Let's be crowdfunded. Let's do this Kahoot. So excited about this. And I'm so sorry. We really cannot reach the tutes this afternoon, but I asked Mazit, please tell them to do a makeup class, I'll do a makeup tomorrow morning for the tutes this afternoon. So if you're talking to your friends, make sure you let them know we do a makeup class for them tomorrow morning, because everyone deserves a tutorial. Okay, so we've got 28 out of 31. Come on, 29. Can we get 2 more? Can we get 2 more, please? 27. What happened? Someone pulled out already? Have I scared you away? Come on. This is the best part of the tute, isn't it? Sarah, are you looking forward to Kahoot?
Yes.
Yes. Ronaldo, are you in with us? Ricardo, are you in? Sharon, Andrea, are you in? Are you in or are you out? Come on, 30. Okay, we've got 30. Let's start this. Right, 3, 2, 1. Let's start this. It's crowdfunding time. 3, 2, 1. Let's play Kahoot. Yes. Okay, what is the primary product of Ambi Labs? Come on, we've got everyone will get this right now. Everyone can get this right. I told you what it was. Remember this thing I held up? Come on, be careful here. All right, 8, 7, 6, 5. Most answers are in. I think you know what it is. Come on, let's do it. 23. Oh, come on. 5, what are you doing? It's not a smart air conditioner. Look, let me show you. See that thing up there? That is an air conditioner up there, okay? They are not making an air conditioner. They're making a smart controller that communicates to the air conditioner. Okay, let's keep moving here. We've got Edward on top. Edward, please take a screenshot, because you're not going to be on top after the next question. Azella's going to beat you on this one. Watch out. Some of the companies are inactive. Which of them are still active? Which ones are still active? Active. We know Bonek has challenged. It's gone. We know that GoKey, successful crowdfunding campaign, but they're gone. Okay, what about Blocks? Successful crowdfunding campaign, but they're gone. Ambi, it should be Ambil, it should be Ambi Labs. Julian, good work. 27, we won 31 on this. 31 and 30 answers if we can get on the next one. Okay, let's keep moving on here. Sarah, 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 Sarah. Well done, Sarah. Where are you? Is your video on? Where's Sarah? Can I see you?
Yeah.
Sarah, look, you're so happy. Great. All right, pay attention because we'll keep you on there. All right, Azealia, Edward, CL, JW, you're coming up. Let's JW. Let's go on this. What is the biggest challenge of Soundbrenner Limited? Upstream, downstream, upstream, downstream. Be very, very careful. There was a downstream, but in some ways I think it was upstream was their biggest challenge, but which one was it? And so you want to be careful on this one. All right, remember, because they had to think their big challenge was upstream because they had to work on the band and actually make more durable the quality of their band, and they had to work very, very closely with their manufacturing. Okay, big thing you're learning about in this session: upstream, downstream challenges. Always, always, always separate out problems when people come to you. Find out, is it an upstream problem or is it a downstream problem? Always categorize. That makes you a much more thoughtful consultants. Which of these companies originated in the USA? There's two of them, because another one originated in Hong Kong. You know, my friend Julian, and another one originated from the UK. And yes, I've given you a hint, aren't I, for the UK one? You know that one. Blocks. That's the UK. So Soundbrenner Goki is the only one left. Okay, I'm helping you. I'm helping you. All right. Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention? All right. Sarah, what happened? You're not paying attention. Please focus. All right. Edward, MW, Queen, Lork, let's get on this one. Next one. How much did Goki raise from Indiegogo? Okay, they were successful in raising. They raised a lot of money. Also, Blocks raised a lot of money too. So don't get this number mixed up with what Blocks raised. I think every one of you know that Bonek raised $2,800 US. It definitely wasn't Goki. But Goki, yes, they did raise $1.2 million. Wow, it's amazing. Just a little product can raise that. And remember, these are companies where they raise the money. They may have a prototype. If it's in Indiegogo, in Kickstarter, you do not need to have a prototype. Wow, that is amazing. You can go to Kickstarter without a prototype. Indiegogo requires you to have that product. Edward, you move to the front. Now Keen is separate. It's between Edward and Keen, Edward and Keen, Edward and Keen. What is the biggest challenge faced by all the startups? All of them. I've talked about all of these. So just what is the biggest? These are all challenges, but what is the biggest one? And I told you, I gave the example of Julian Lee, where they had to do 3 different stages of manufacturing. All right. It is, it's IP protection. IP protection, because if you don't protect the IP, you are dead in the water, because the factory will deliver the product to your market tomorrow and sell it for 1/3 or half the price of your product. Okay. Neil, this is supposed to be fintech. Why are you teaching me all this? Because crowdfunding can get you into trouble, and crowdfunding is a big area of fintech. It's an allure. It's like diamonds, but be careful. Those diamonds can actually kill you if they cut you. Be careful, be careful. Edward's on top, then Jay Shin, then Keen, then Derek and Andrea. Come on, let's move on this. All right, at 10:51, 7:16. Who uses Kickstarter as their crowdfunding platform? One of these used Kickstarter, and they didn't need to have a prototype. Very, very interesting here. So let's keep looking at this. Which one? Most of these use Indiegogo, not Kickstarter. But which one? It was Ambilabs. My friend Julian Lee used from Ambilabs. They use Kickstarter. The others use Indiegogo. All right. Weishu has made a big move. Derek is coming back with 3 in a row. That is fantastic. 8 out of the 16. What was Goki's biggest challenge? What was their biggest challenge? First of all, was it upstream or was it downstream? Remember, Goki, they raised a lot of money, so downstream may not be their biggest challenge. It's definitely upstream. So part of that upstream, Where did they have communication problems with? Definitely with a Chinese team. They're from the US, so definitely it's the US and the Chinese team. You could have got this right by process of elimination. Okay, let's move on this. Next one. Derek, CEO has moved up. Wei Shu, Ken, up 9 places. Ricardo, where is Ricardo? Ricardo, where is your video? Please show us that you're jumping around now. We cannot see you. Ricardo, have you got the video on, Ricardo? Hello, are you there? Or are you AI? Ricardo, are you a real person or AI?
My camera is troubled, sir.
That's all right, but we wanted to see you excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, sir.
Just yeah, I'd be pumped. The biggest climber, Go Keys funding campaign was extremely successful. Was the crowdfunding campaign successful? Come on, everyone, you know the answer to this. You know the answer. Come on, everyone knows the answer to this one. Come on, please, let's get this right. Can we? Oh, come on. Everyone knows this is true. Their crowdfunding campaign was successful, but they failed. They failed to deliver. They failed. They are inactive. All right. Successful means a crowdfunding campaign is successful when they raise more money than what they hope to raise. Jin, I love your dog too. We should put that on Kickstarter and see what crowdfunding we can do. You can put your dog there and say, this is an AI dog, and I will deliver one to you if you pay me $1 million. Derek, okay, Derek's on top. Jin Lim is there. What is the biggest challenge for Ambi Labs? Remember my friend Julian here. Biggest challenge for Ambi Labs, their biggest challenge. Was it upstream? Was it downstream? Upstream, downstream, the quality of the product, manufacturing quality, software, introduction of the product. The biggest. These are all challenges, but which was their biggest? Yeah, it was getting software to learn the AC temperature, because when they turn it on, the software had to learn the correct AC temperature to make sure that when the software thought it was 26 degrees, then the AC temperature was showing 26 degrees, because their own software or their own device had a temperature sensor too, and so they still had to sync it with the AC temperature, because it was the air conditioning that was changing the temperature, not the device, if you know what I mean. Okay, so that was the challenge, right? The device didn't change the temperature of the air conditioning. The air conditioning changed the temperature. The device communicated to the settings in the air conditioner to change the temperature. So quite complicated, and that was their biggest challenge. Definitely a upstream challenge, not a downstream challenge. Ernest May come back with 3 in a row. We have 11 hours 16. So finally, then we'll go to the costs and benefits. What is the one issue faced by Sound Brenner? What is their one issue? What was their biggest issue? Complicated models, upstream, or is it downstream? Upstream, downstream. And I've already given you a hint. I have given you a hint. It was upstream. It was upstream. It was a big issue. Improving the product coating and wristbands. I told you about that. They had that big problem. Okay. All right. Go back and listen to the video. Derek doing very, very well. Edward, Keen, Ern, and Sarah. Okay, 12 hours 16. True or false? Bonac needs to ensure the baby product is safe to use and people are well informed of the function. The C is missing out of the function. True or false? This is very, very important. I think originally this was incorrect, but I think we got this right. True. It is true. We got 29 is correct. Those are false. I think that is AI, but the AI, you need to do more machine learning to get on the path to success here. Okay. Who have we got now? We got Derek, we got Edward and Keen on the scoreboard. Derek, you're doing very, very well here. 13 hours 16. What is the drawbacks of crowdfunding? Drawbacks. Ideas cannot be stolen. Yes, they can be stolen. Be very, very careful. No working product type is needed. No, you can go to Kickstarter and not have a working prototype. What else? Updates not regularly Yeah, so that's not a drawback. A drawback is deadline date needs to be followed. Okay, the deadline, because you miss the deadline, you are toast. Because you have to send out apologies. You have to try and convince 100,000 people that have all given you $10, $50, $100 to say, look, can we just delay this by one more month, and can you just still be happy with me and not ask for your money back? Okay, that's a very hard thing to do. You got to do that to 100,000 people. How can you do that? Derek, then Edward, you're on top. What is the benefit of using the crowdfunding platform? What is the benefit? Remember, what is the biggest benefit? Don't just choose all of the above. Please do not choose all of the above, because Indiegogo requires a working prototype, okay? Indiegogo requires a prototype, all right? All right, Kickstarter does not require a working prototype. Market testing, that is the biggest benefit, all right? Because you put, if you get 100,000 people saying they want to pledge $50 or $100, that immediately tells you that, I've got something here. You with me? All right. I've got something. And no, I haven't got something because I haven't got a prototype. I better make sure, I'm in Kickstarter and not Indiegogo, because Indiegogo requires a prototype. All right. Trick question, but it's the market testing. That is the biggest benefit of crowdfunding. All right. Because when people say they were going to give you money, that means they're definitely interested in your product. 15 out of 16, let's finish this. Which crowdfunding platform does not need a working prototype? All right. You should be able to get this right. You should be able to get this right. Okay. All right. This is something you're taken away by getting things wrong, but then you learn by making the wrong answers. Come on, everyone, 32 of you, you should be able to get Kickstarter, 21 of you, okay? Kickstarter does not need a working prototype. Indiegogo requires soon, is that correct or not? Not sure. Okay, all right. By the way, do you want? I'll show you some AI if you stay behind for 1 minute. All right. If you want to see real AI, I'll show you some AI. All right, Derek. Well done. Last question, and 2 more things to do. I want your feedback. What can you do to avoid your idea being stolen on the crowdfunding platform? What can you do to avoid your idea being stolen? Your idea can easily be stolen, so you've got to be very, very, very careful. You're probably safer putting your house on mortgage and going to a bank, all right, if you want to protect your idea. So be very, very careful. Crowdfunding, people see your idea and might copy it, even that they might give you money, but they might copy it at the same time. Be very, very careful. All right. IP protection. Now, downstream market, you might be able to, you got to register a trademark, and then you can do lawyers. If you're in the USA, you can protect yourself. Okay. Upstream, that's where you got to be very, very careful with the manufacturing, because upstream, you go to a developing economy like China, like Vietnam, like even you go to Malaysia, you've got to be careful of who you get to make something for your product. Okay. All right. Could happen in any world, particularly developing economies where they have a different sense of IP protection. Okay. So let's have a look. Finally, crowdfunding podium. Let's have a hand for Wei Shu. Where's Wei Shu? Video, please. Where's Wei Shu? And Sarah, where's Sarah? And who's on top? Derek. Derek, where are you? Derek, where are you? Derek, give me a high five. A high five. There, yeah, that is cool. Well done. Excellent. All right. So what is the big thing that you should be taken away? The big thing that you should be taken away today in the tune. Number 1, all right, crowdfunding. It's an allure. It's very easy to get money. All right. You can even like I told you, your project, if you propose an app, all right, like as a fintech project, you can actually put that on and do crowdfunding on that, all right? But what's going to happen is someone else will see that and they think, oh, I'll make that without crowdfunding, and suddenly your project idea is stolen, and the next day you're dead in the water. Why? Because people have committed money to you. Now you're going to deliver, but now you're not going, and you may not raise as much money. You waste a heap of time. All right. So you got to be very, very careful. Whatever you put on crowdfunding cannot be immediately copied. Okay. Number two, you need to be very, very careful with your upstream management, because if you get a wash of $1 million of commitment for you to deliver by deadline, you better be very, very sure that upstream that you can practically make what you are promising. Okay. Now, remember, crowdfunding, this is a fintech area, and like it's huge. Okay. And so that's why you need to be aware of this. All right. And as I said, you could actually make part of your project a crowdfunding campaign for this fintech unit. All right. Depends on what you are making. All right. Whether it's hardware, software, or an app, like I showed you on an app. But I tell you, two last things in the chat room. Can you please, your feedback is always very, very important. And notice that I give you the link to the feedback. I think is, I've just posted that into chat room. If you can give feedback and then questions, you may have noticed that there was about a dozen questions asked last week. And then on Monday morning, I posted a YouTube video in answering those questions. So you give feedback, then I will give you feedback. Okay. And that's how we learn together. Finally, I did promise you I'm going to show you a AI, because I'm part of oh, by the way, the tutorial is officially ended. So do give feedback. If you have to go, you have to go. That is fine. But I just want to show you what AI is doing. And this is just a simple one. Let me just more videos. Let me just show you. I'm just going to share the screen very, very quickly, because part of my job is I want to inspire you, and I want you to just look beyond any unit that you are studying, right? So I want you to meet Max, Mia, and Isabella, 3 people, and I want you to tell me which person is the real person, okay? Now, this is real because I'm a member of the Global Supply Chain Council, which is a professional body in Asia. You pay money to be a member, but you get access to all the C managers around the region. And in these conferences, they always introduce the different presentations. And so there's Max, Mia, and Isabella introducing, and I was a presenter last year. Max, Mia, and Isabella are presenting, but one of these is real. So you got to tell me which one is real. So let me queue it up. Kind of view. And then in the chat room, you remember the tutorial is finished, all right? But I just want to briefly show you. We put on theater mode. I want you to see. Now I want you to have a close look and listen. So I better turn the share the sound. Okay, I'm going to turn it up because you need to hear the sound. Okay, are you ready? There's Max, Mia, and Isabella. Which one is real? Which one is AI? Okay. Well, it's simple AI, all right? I'm not saying that this is not Terminator AI type thing, all right?
So
let's go.
Today's session for Paul is called Optimizing Fulfillment for Social Commerce and Impact of Social Media on Supply Chain. So welcome, Paul.
Today's session is about successful Asia procurement strategies, including the way forward with...
Let's do that again.
So today's session for Paul is called Optimizing Fulfillment for Social Commerce and Impact of Social Media on Supply Chain. So welcome, Paul.
That's Max.
Today's session is about successful Asia procurement strategies, including the way forward with procurement digitization. It's great to have you here today, Niece Peter. Welcome again. Please.
Processes using fully automated smart warehouse drone systems. Prior to joining Infinium Robotics, Arjun has worked in the AGV, EIT, and industrial automation domains. He holds a master's degree in robotics and embedded systems from University of Salford, United Kingdom, and a bachelor's degree in instrumentation and control from University of Calicut, India. Today's session is about fully automated stock.
So today's session for Paul.
Okay, so which one is the AI? Which one is the AI? Someone said Max, Isabella and Mia. Isabella, who put your hand up? You got your videos on, so put your hand up for Max. Anyone for Max is AI? Okay, hands up for Mia. And hands up for Isabella. Okay, so the AI is Mia and Isabella. All right, Max is a real person. All right, so what I'm showing, because Max is actually, he's the actual owner and coordinator of the Global Supply Chain Council, right? My friend, he actually lives in Shanghai, and he's been doing this at the start of all the videos of these conferences for several years now, but suddenly he's now got Mia and Isabella as his support. So to do all of this. So I just want to let you know that class, the world is changing. In the future, I could be replaced by Mia or Isabella, but my aim is not to be replaced, because I want to bring stuff to your learning experience that no computer or robot can emulate, you know, like that, stuff like that. All right. So I just want to, most important thing is you got me. I'll be taking more tutes. If you want me to take more tutes, put the feedback into the, go through those feedback questions. Appreciate your feedback, your questions. The big thing you learned today, write that in. This is very, very important, because no day is going to be the same for every day you're learning. And just it's dog eat dog out there in this world today. Your future you'll be better prepared for the future if you're prepared for the worst case scenario. And that's a talk I'm going to give to students in the coming weeks about preparing for the worst case scenario. And that's something I prepare for every day as a teacher, to make sure that you get more than what you expect as your tutor. And that's what I'm here to deliver. All right, have a fantastic day and see you next week. And don't forget, prepare for the next week's tute, because I'm certain it will going to be a fun one. Okay, bye for now.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I want to ask.
Question?
Sir.
With the code, let's get the code. If you just hang on, I'll get the code for you. Okay. If you can stay on the call, I'll get the code for you. Appreciate that.